Hey guys, today we're going to talk about ADHD and understanding our students in our classroom that have ADHD. We're going to talk about, the definition of ADHD, um, the behaviors and characteristics, how many students are being served in the United States, and does everyone show the same characteristics or behaviors? ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It has been known by many names since it was first recorded in medical um, research, and that dates back to as far as like the 1700s. At one point, it was referred to as minimal brain dysfunction. I don't know about you, but I'm glad times have changed. ADHD is the structural, chemical, connectivity differences that are made in the brain. There are three different types of ADHD. There's inattentive presentation, hyperactive impulsive presentation, and then a combination of those. Inattentive presentation, a student may um, submit incomplete work or inaccurate work, have difficulty carrying on a conversation, may be easily distracted, difficulty following directions. They might frequently lose their materials. The hyperactive impulsive type, they may be in constant motion. They frequently are fidgeting, in their chair. They might become restless during quiet activities. They may leave their seat when it is supposed to be a time that everyone's expected to be in their seats. Talk excessively, fail to follow classroom procedures. And like I said, there's a combined of those two. There is no medical test that is given to identify a disorder, meaning there's no blood test you can take to, you can't walk out of a meeting with your pediatrician that same day with a diagnosis of ADHD. It's a comprehensive evaluation given by a licensed clinician, such as your pediatrician or a psychologist. And this evaluation is based off of symptoms seen over a 6-month period. Like we said before, some of the behaviors were, wandering off task, struggling to stay focused, fidgeting, easily frustrated, reluctant to do work that requires mental effort for a long period of time, um, trouble waiting their turn. And these symptoms need to be present in two or more settings, meaning at home and at school, with family and with friends, like not just one or the other. If you have ADHD, you're going to show these symptoms in two or more settings. Um, these characteristics are long lasting or chronic. They impair a person's functioning that may make them fall behind developmentally for their age. And if left undiagnosed, it can cause poor performance in school or in work. It makes relationships very difficult to keep, and it may cause unhealthy attempts at self-medicating. And the CDC stated in 2016 that 6.1 million children between the ages of 2 and 17 were diagnosed with ADHD. And not everybody's the same. Um, they're not going to show all the same characteristics or behaviors. Everyone experiences ADHD in their own way, and treatment is different for everyone. Some people are medicated, sometimes they are just required to go to therapy, and sometimes it's both. So we're going to talk about the number of ADHD cases. Why are they increasing? And what category does this fall under in the IDEA of 2014 categories? So the reason for the increase is, oh, excuse me, let me go back. The increasing numbers, diagnosis in children of ages 4 to 17 increased from 6.1% in 1997 to 1998 to 10.2% in 2015-2016. That's 1 in 10 children that are affected by ADHD. the reason for the increase. It might be the recognition of the doctors and the increased awareness of the disorder between parents and schools. Some suspicions as to why ADHD is caused is the drinking or smoking of the mom while she's pregnant, exposure to pesticides, environmental factors, electronics. Um, Studies have been given that children that have a high use of electronics show a 10.5% symptoms of ADHD. And there's another study is, the children that don't use electronics very much show a 4.6% of ADHD symptoms. These studies don't, lay out a cause and effect that electronics causes ADHD. On one hand, children that have ADHD are drawn to electronics for the stimulation of it, while on another hand, electronic exposure could increase the risk of ADHD symptoms. Other speculations are increased sugars, food allergies, and additives, traumatic life experiences, and poor parenting. None of these cause ADHD. Um, like we said before, ADHD is treated with therapy and sometimes medication. In 2016, 5.2% of all children ages 2 to 17 in the United States were medicated. ADHD falls under the other health impaired category of the IDEA. And now we're going to talk about, how can we as teachers have interventions in our classroom for these ADHD students. So the number of directions, the amount of directions, limit the amount of directions given, and the way we're given the way we are giving the directions. Sometimes they need to be written. Sometimes they may need to be a visual model of what our directions are. Deconstructing the tasks, breaking down into smaller units what is expected, limiting the amount of work per page, or allowing extra time, providing breaks for these students. Let's do questions 1 through 3 and let's take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do 4 through 6. And reducing the length of your written assignments. So the organization in your classroom, have an assignment notebook that has, their homework and their seat work, or give color-coded folders. Have clean out dates where you are cleaning out and organizing their folders, their desks, their backpacks, and maybe assign a homework partner. Have another child help them out that can help check the work that they're putting the homework in the correct spots and recording in their agenda the correct information. Seating in your classroom. One big thing was to not use tables with kids with ADHD, that you're now grouping them in, maybe a table of 4, 6 children. You're giving them all kinds of distractions, where having desks, a teacher or a para can easily pull up a chair right next to the desk and, help the student out. Sit these children close to your instruction, away from distractions, and maybe by a peer that are attentive workers so that they can model the behavior. Praise, praise, praise. Give constant praise, and have communication with parents. Have a reinforcement system, that in their folders, we had a good day, we had a rough day. And then when you are giving redirection, make it a corrective feedback to these students, such as, well, Susie, we can do our assignment now. We can um, do it during lunch, or we can do it after school. Letting them know, giving them options of, maybe they don't want to do it right now, and that's fine. Then you are choosing whether to do it during lunch or after school. And then maybe preventing some things from happening by giving nonverbal support, during instruction time, giving them a thumbs up or a wink, just to let them know, man, your behavior's on task, good job. Um, Letting them choose the reward with, if once we finish this, then we can move on to centers, or we can um, go take a walk. You choose. And having timers in the classroom, and music, sometimes classical music. My dad always put classical music on when we were to sit down and do homework, so then we didn't have the distraction of singing along with the song. That with classical music, it was just something constant, that it wasn't pure quiet in the house, but it wasn't something that was going to distract us either. So I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.